One of our strategic targets is enrollment, both undergraduate and graduate. We're making good progress toward our undergraduate goal. We'll certainly make it. We'll have 23,000 students by academic year 23. We had a slight increase this year, but that was mostly, in fact, entirely due to returning students. The incoming first-year class was down a bit. Unfortunately, the graduate population is dropping significantly, and it would not look like we're going to make our target of 12,000 students by academic year 2023. Much of this is due to the difficulty of the many international students who have come to us in years past who simply can't get a visa to come into the country right now. So we have our work cut out for us to rebuild the graduate population at UTD. As we look at doctoral graduates, for many years, in fact, preceding even this strategic plan, we've had a target of 300 PhDs and audiology degrees every year. We've made good progress. For the longest time, we were running at 200, but we've had a couple years, two in the last 3 years, we've been at 250, which is good, but still we've got a ways to go to reach that target of 300. Here you see the number of first-time in college freshmen, our FTIC. Our goal was to reach 3,900 students by academic year 2023. You can see that we actually met the goal. We had over 4,000 students in the entering class from a little over a year ago. You can see for the first time in a long while, the number of freshmen entering at UTD has dropped below the line. This is entirely due to the coronavirus. We think many of these students eventually will find their way to UTD. Maybe they'll defer to the spring semester, maybe to a following year, but we are well on our way to meeting that strategic goal. For academic space, we've always needed a lot of it. Historically, we've been one of the nation's fastest growing universities. We've had significant capital construction over the years, and just in my time here, we've seen the new engineering building open up, and now the new sciences building, which is terrific. We're getting there. We are getting there. So we have an aggressive goal, and I think we have an opportunity, especially now that our next building up will be the Biomedical Engineering and Sciences building that will be shared with UT Southwestern. So I think we're on a good pace to meeting our academic space needs. The number of tenure system faculty, it's been quite flat for some time. When we wrote the strategic plan, I said that this would be both our most aggressive and most important goal. Both of those statements are still true. It is still our most important goal. We had a very aggressive hiring plan last year. We started out wanting to hire 60 new tenured and tenure-track faculty members. Unfortunately, the coronavirus hit before the hiring season was over. We nevertheless had a good hiring year, but we are still a good long way away from the 710 that we want to have by academic year 2023. I hate to say it, but I think we're going to miss that goal. This is the brightest spot of all the strategic objectives. So we wanted to have a goal of $60 million in federal research expenditures by academic year 2023. As I like to point out in my talks, this is a very challenging arena. And in this case, for the federal research expenditures, we are competing with the very best universities in the nation. If MIT or Stanford or Caltech wants to bid on some of these projects, they may. And it's to our great achievement that we are succeeding to an ever-increasing extent. And you can see the dramatic growth in the research spending column. So $36 million in academic year 17, up to $56 million in academic year 20. We will most surely meet that goal, and in fact, we're going to blow through it. Here you see our 4-year and 6-year graduation rates. We're trying to get the 4-year rate to 60%, and we're trying to get the 6-year rate to 75%. I think we're going to get there. The 4-year rate looks kind of flat. It's been in the mid-50s for some time. But we have some very good programs put in place to help with the retention of first-year students. And just for reference, these numbers tend to be second or third best in the state for public universities. So hats off to UT Austin. They tend to do a bit better than we do. We're sort of on par with Texas A&M University, and we're frankly measurably better than every other university in the state of Texas. So these are good numbers, but we want them to be even better. Here you see our endowment. We've done well with fundraising for UT Dallas. We have plans to launch a capital campaign. In fact, we had hoped to have had it launched by this time, but things got stalled in the spring, but we are still working very actively to move forward on a major new capital campaign. I think we're going to get to that 750. I really do. It's 2 years away, but I think we're going to get to the $750 million mark by academic year 2023.